Hello, my name is Miles Tomlinson. This is China's automobile industry and market. We are Group 1. And again, my name is Miles Tomlinson. My other group members are Willie Weaver, Shu Xue, Shaina Zimdahl. I'm sorry if I mispronounced anybody's name. China's early days of production. China's auto production began around 1928. They mainly used the vehicles that they produced for war. Zheng Hunling, leader of northeastern China, was credited with the first truck, the Mengsheng, in 1931. A general named Yang Hengcheng was responsible for the truck-propelled car for World War II. Yang Hengcheng had hired a man named Teng Zongming, a Chinese engineer and inventor, to create the truck-propelled car, which was a great leap forward in Chinese car technology. Again, both these cars were used primarily for war in China. China's first domestic cars. In 1956, First Automobile Works was China's first car manufacturer. They were state-owned and were founded in Changchun, Jilin, China. They produced China's first passenger car, the Hongqi, in 1958. Also in 1958, the Yujin, a 2.5-ton truck, was produced. They were produced by a company called Nanjing Automobile Works, previously a servicing unit of the Army. They produced trucks until 1987 and made well over 100,000. In the 1950s and 1960s, many more companies popped up, some of them including the Shanghai Automotive Industry Corporation, the China National Heavy-Duty Truck Company, Beijing Automotive Industry Holding Corporation, and lastly, the Second Automobile Works, now known as the Dongfeng Motor Corporation. During the first 3 decades of automobile production in China, they were not focused on mass production. Passenger car industry explosion. From 1980 to 1990, the passenger car industry bloomed. Passenger cars became a major part of the economy. In 1985, China spent $3 billion to import 350,000 vehicles. China went from producing 5,200 cars to Japan's second-largest export market in cars in a matter of months. Due to such an influx of business in China, they started to not only post propaganda, but impose regulatory taxes on the import vehicles in order to slow down the import market. At that point, China decided to start having foreign cars companies produce vehicles inside of their country. Chinese foreign car producers. Foreign car producers created knockdown kits. Essentially what a knockdown kit was a more basic version of a car that the foreign producer produced. This set China back and allowed them not to really grow as a car producer nation with their own vehicles. They would always have to kind of work with other outside sources or foreign car companies. The first deal was in 1983 with AMC to produce Jeeps. In 1984, Germany's Volkswagen signed a deal. That same year, Francis Peugeot agreed to produce cars. The deals went anywhere from 20 to 25 years, and they produced cars for far long, and kind of was also a source of economic strength as a nation to have these cars produced. Chinese automotive manufacturers. Since then, several Chinese automotive companies have entered the market. Some coming from the defense industry, such as Chang'an Motors, Changhe Motors, and Hafei Motors. Some developed from old state-owned entities such as BYD Auto, Brilliance China, Chery Automobile, and Changfeng Automobile. Some privately owned companies also existed, such as Geely Automobile and Great Wall Motors.
In 2008, China's auto production volume has surpassed Germany and the US, just after Japan. As of now, China has become number 1 in the world in auto production volume. In 2015, more than 24 million cars were produced here in China, including family and commercial vehicles. Over the last 10 years, China's auto production volume has increased rapidly from less than 6 million cars in 2005 to more than 24 million in 2015. Besides a huge amount of vehicles were produced, China has become the manufacturing center for auto parts. Its products export all over the globe. SAIC Motor Corporation Limited is the largest automaker in China with more than 144,000 employees. SAIC stands for Shanghai Automotive Industry Corporation. This state-owned automotive design and manufacturing company is located in Shanghai with multinational operations. The company opened its door back in the 1940s, and it was one of few car makers in the early age of People's Republic of China. Under Deng's economic reform, SAIC signed a cooperative deal with Volkswagen in 1984 and General Motors in 1998. After signing the deal, SAIC has quickly become one of the leading automakers in China. In 2015, SAIC sold almost 6 million vehicles. 2014's total revenue increased to $102 billion. The company ranked number 60 in Fortune 500. China is also one of the largest markets for import and export automobiles. In 2015, 1.6 million cars were imported, a surprisingly decrease of 25% from 2014. The drop in import volume was expected due to China is going through economic shift. Mercedes-Benz and BMW were top two brands imported last year. Since the weak sales of imported cars, an average of 14% discount was offered to consumers across the industry. On the other hand, more than 700,000 vehicles were exported in 2015. This also took a 20% downturn compared to 2014 number. However, the average price for exported automobiles was raised to $17,000 per vehicle compared to $14,000 per vehicle in 2014. Asia and South Africa are two major markets for Chinese vehicles. In Asia, Iran and Vietnam combined has imported 180,000 cars from China in 2015. In South Africa, Venezuela and Chile imported 80,000 cars from China in 2015. As for the future of China's auto industry, it is still a much concentrated market. The largest 10 automakers represent 81% of market share. It's just like the US market. China's auto production is shifting from the traditional gasoline-powered vehicles to renewable energy-powered vehicles. Chinese automakers are trying very hard to become independent. Both public and private funds have been invested in research and development heavily. Despite the economic difficulty both in China and the world nowadays, global cooperation is helping both China's automobiles industry and other countries grow quickly. The future is still as bright as before.
Ending of summer 2015 auto sales in China. Well, first I want to speak on prior to the ending of the 2015 summer in China auto sales, because prior to that, China actually seen a decrease in auto sales, so they was actually struggling in sales, and automobile sales wasn't actually going how they would prefer. following the end of the summer 2015, China actually started to rise out of that slump of decreasing auto sales. So auto sales actually started to pick up at the end of the summer of 2015, and on until in November, China actually seen a 72% rise in auto sales. So that was a rapid increase in auto sales, and what actually influenced this 72% increase that China seen in November was the government's slice of the automobile sales, in which they had cut the automobile sales in half, and that actually influenced the increase of automobile sales. Automobile industry affects China as a whole. Well, the reason why the automobile affects China as a whole, for one, is because it is included in China's 5-year plan, and as we know, China's 5-year plan is very important, which is decisions that are made by the government for China's economy. The automobile industry is a major factor in the infrastructure of China, and knowing that they make a nice quality of cars, the infrastructure is like the capacity of manufacturing automobiles, and the automobile industry, as we know in China, it plays a very important part to the economic growth. So if the auto industry is affected negatively, China's economic growth is affected negatively. If it's affected positively, then China's economic growth is affected positively. Robbery profits in China. Well, the automobile industry is very competitive, and in some of these cities in China, they have actually done some scandalous strategic tactics to boost up the automobile industry. In doing so, some of these provinces have actually dispersed currency to the locals, so they didn't go elsewhere to search for automobiles. So as competitors, they actually subsidize his own province to do so. And I think things like this, it actually hindered the freedom to purchase. So I think it kind of like your freedom of choice in searching for automobiles is kind of invaded by doing this.
So, what is the future of China's automotive industry? The answer to that is China's continual expanse of their automotive industry has and will allow them to grow even more as a nation of its own. The expectation of a steady growth is solid, and it will most likely continue to be the largest market for automobiles. Over the next 5 years, China's auto industry is likely to grow by 6 to 7% annually. Now, what's interesting about China's future in the automotive industry is that it looks like Chinese are asking for a budget SUV. There's been a rapid growth of budget SUVs. Sales have surged by 53% for the full year, and this was in 2015. It's surprising because typically China's thought of as a small car view country. However, this budget SUV now makes up about 40% of all sales. And it's a trend that's carried into 2016. In addition, there is also a need for NEVs, which are national electric vehicles, and this feeds into China's promotion of a greener environment. And this is something that's also mentioned within their 5-year plan. There are incentives to owning an NEV in China's government, and that's tax exemptions and subsidies. The government is even being required to buy more of these NEVs as part of the Green Initiative, and it helps reduce China's pollution. NEV sales are also predicted to continue both a steady and rapid growth. So it's interesting to see how both the market for NEVs and also this new niche market for budget SUVs have kind of become the predominant sales within China's automotive industry. In conclusion, China's automotive industry has definitely gone from producing a single truck named Mingshen in 1931 to topping a combination of the US, the European Union, and Japan's production of cars in 2009. And it looks like China's automotive industry has no plans on stopping their growth anytime soon. And there's a huge importance, as I stated earlier, on producing greener vehicles for the environment. And it's definitely an industry to watch when it comes to the study of business within China.